Howdy guys, welcome back to Princess Evangile Part 6. Well, in our last episode we got attacked again by our childhood friend, so we're probably going to be going back to the chairwoman's office again. So here we go, we're starting chapter 3 here. I give you strict warning if the next day you repeat yourselves, for heaven's sakes. Chihio, Okanogi, Messiah, I cannot overlook this a second time. You both received 3 days house arrest. Now, Madam Headmistress, we cannot tolerate this any longer, Madam Chairwoman. It is true, though, that on the surface the slap to the cheek is quite a disruptive display, but on the surface, you must agree that catfights are not uncommon among the Filles de la Vincennes. It is a matter of degree. It is not a matter of degree, Madam Headmistress. I recall you once saw the back of your hand scratched and lamented how slow it was to heal. I do not feel it is necessary to bring up ancient history here. But the fact that things never changed is one of Vincennes' most distinct characteristics, that this is part of that. In any event, compare scratch marks to a slap mark, there is no question of which will heal faster. Very well, however, this will be the last time. Next time I will give you a suitable punishment regardless of the chairwoman's words. Please leave. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hey, Chihio. Hey. She left. Just as it had been during lunch the last time we met, she completely shut me out. It's so strange. It was evening. We were speaking in the recreation room as we had done 2 days ago. Even watching the display, I had a number of questions myself. It seemed to me as though your conversation was proceeding normally. At the least, you did nothing to her that would provoke her so. And yet, I wonder what Chihio-san could have been thinking. Yeah. Chihio was giving me the silent treatment, so I had no idea what could be the cause. That night, I laid in bed and stared at the ceiling and repeated the scene over and over again in my head. But I still couldn't grasp what I did or said to make her so angry. We were still sitting together in silence when we heard a hesitant knock on the door. So this is where you are. Oh, Ruriko. Salutations. Salutations to you, Panku. Ku. Might I join you? Me? I wish to speak with you regarding Chihio. Ah, sure. We were just talking about yesterday's events. I see that I've come at an appropriate time. There is so much that Messiah and I fail to understand about her behavior. Do you feel the same way, Ruriko? Yes. I feel I must apologize to you, Messiah. Why? The first time that Chihio-san struck you, I believe that you had wronged her somehow. However, with the shock of the incident past, I realized that my conclusion was an over-hasty one. Then yesterday, because Rise was with you... What? Me? Rise seemed to know the situation and was still accompanying you, Messiah. What I'm saying is that I realize that your situation must be sympathetic. That's very insightful. You've always been very wise. Bijou Blue? I do agree. She acts so vapid, but it was true that she was quiet and gentle, but she appeared to be quite observant as well. Would you explain to me the particulars of the situations as well? Of course. I see. And then Messiah concerns proved well-founded. Goons, were they called, the two of them are indeed quite dangerous. But when I think back on that incident, I cannot help but feel regret. Your lottery ticket. I told you not to worry about that. Even so, I believe. Ruriko thought quietly for a moment before continuing. It was an unavoidable situation, don't you think? But then what caused Chihio to fly off in such a rage? Remember, yesterday's events occurred before Messiah offered her a proper explanation. Yes, that is true. I have felt that for some time a certain concern about Chihio. Why is that? As I leaned forward, Ruriko slumped into her chair. You do appear very worried about her. Oh, well, we were childhood friends. It's been over a year since we saw each other. I didn't even know she planned to go here after graduation. That's why seeing her here had been such a shock. If this were a normal school, it wouldn't have been a big deal, but this was the famous Vincennes. And Chihio's family was decidedly middle class. Why is that? I would have expected you to discuss your future plans at least. I've been hiding my family situation for a while, which made it hard to talk about. Chihio certainly didn't seem surprised to learn about your flight, but why ever did you hide it? I didn't want to worry her. Chihio's parents helped me a lot with family situation. They were good people. I didn't want to put them through that. Plus, my old man was such a con artist, I was afraid that if I made them take pity on me, he'd get them involved in it. So I decided I would never mention money to them. I see. That explains your part of it, but why did Chihio never mention it, I wonder? Not really sure. I wouldn't have minded if she wanted to brag a little. I wonder if she felt rather lonesome. About what? Vincennes is a boarding school, as you know. We visit home only during summer vacation and New Year's holiday. In other words, you would have very few chances to see one another. Of course, I'm certain that's the reason why. Right, why are you glaring at me? Oh, do forgive me, my eyesight is rather poor, so I have a habit of squinting from time to time. Right. The source of my anxiety, though, is the way that Chihio is treated as a tourist. You mean the final course tourist thing? Yes. What does that mean exactly? I've been wondering about that. At my question, the two exchanged a troubled glance. That's right, I suppose the meaning wouldn't be immediately clear. Do you remember that I explained how Vincennes education begins with primary course? Yeah. The majority of the students here begin with primary course. You occasionally get students who are in intermediary, but very few at final. So they have a hard time fitting in. Ah, right. Tommy mentioned that too. Well, as part of the news club, I know a thing or two, and Chihio's saying never really fit in. In addition, Vincennes has a distinct atmosphere. You mentioned it the night I met you, Messiah. You found my way of speaking rather peculiar. Ah, right. You can imagine what happens then, beginning from intermediary. One can fit in eventually, but it's very difficult for the final courses. I wish to change the tendency as well. That is another part of my desire for coeducation. I feel the same way. Eureka. I cannot say that I was always aware of the problem, however. Since befriending Chihio, I've noticed a powerful sense of discrimination towards her. There is no connection between one's period of enrollment and one's character that I can see, and yet we act as though there were. I believe that is small-minded. That's exactly right. I'm so glad to hear you agree with me, Ruriko. It's nothing. Oh, that's right, Ruriko. Would you be willing to work with us as an affiliate of the White Lily Society? Though I do not know how much help I will be, I will gladly participate. Cuckoo. Thank you. The two shook hands. We had our first affiliate. Painterbell was dancing on her shoulder. I shook hands with her as well. Once it was finished, Ruriko stared at her hand in disbelief. This is the first time I've ever touched a small man's skin. It's just a handshake. That is true. Anyway, to return to the point, Chihio has been wounded many times since entering the school. I truly hope we can change things for her, but Chihio did seem to notice when she heard the others whispering about her. It may have affected Chihio-san's thinking such that she misunderstood your words. That's what I believe. Misunderstood them how? Perhaps she believed that you hid the matter of your death from her because you believed her to be faithless. I remember the incomplete thought she'd expressed to me the day before. Messiah, even you treat me that way. Can't believe she'd think that. We were childhood friends and everything. But as Ruriko said, it may have been the influence of the school that led her to think that way. Well, now that I know what she's thinking, we can fix it. I'll talk to her again tomorrow. Yes, please do your best. After all, you pledged yourselves to each other once. But what? You did? No, it's not like that. What? Where did that come from, Ruriko? Am I wrong? That's what I assumed it meant to be childhood friends. No, the term seriously doesn't have any of that implication at all. Ruriko was intelligent, but she was also the kind of girl who had never seen boxers before, and there was her reaction to her handshake, too. She was the kind of person who showed that being intelligent and being knowledgeable were not necessarily the same thing. Look at me, I'm so flustered. I apologize for startling you. Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm so startled. I couldn't quite understand what the difference was myself. Well, Messiah, I believe you should go by yourself this time. Please inform us of the results. Roger. A new day has dawned. Unfortunately, the results weren't much to talk about. What do you want now? Chihio moved away swiftly, and I picked up the pace to meet her. We ended up in the rose garden. Wait a minute, at least hear me out, please. Or are you just never going to talk to me again? Look, I was really happy to see you again. Idiot. Huh? Just spit it out, I'm listening. Right. Finally, I explained to her about the mom coming after me, however. So, her reaction was still cold. Are you kidding me? You were bad at making excuses in the headmistress' office, and you're bad at making them now. What? But I'm telling the truth. No matter how dangerous they were, why would they go after someone who had nothing to do with you? just, well, even though it was my old man's death, they were still coming after me, so a son is not the same as a childhood friend. Well, that is true, but if it's true, it is true. We were just friends, that's all. It would be different if we were a couple, of course. But I can't imagine that would ever come to collect on your debt. But I listen, Chief, so you know how dangerous the goons are, don't you? Huh? Why would I know anything about that mafia? That was true. I don't think you really know either. Honestly, I think you're just making things up. No, I really do know, though my source was the old man. That old bastard, he was so good with the words he had me fully convinced the goons were dangerous. Though in the end, it still seemed like he was right about that. Well, since I never got to tell you personally, I guess it wasn't obvious how scared I was. Of course it was, and now let me go. It wasn't until she said that I realized I was holding onto her wrist. The moment I let her go, she turned on her heel. Ah. Well, she's always been faster on her feet. That sucked. Jeez, Messiah. I want to make up with you so badly. Why do you have to keep lying to me? And that's how it turned out. That is troubling, although at a glance it does seem like an unbelievable story. Yeah, I can't really deny that. Last night I speculated that it was her time at Vincennes that had affected her, but it appears that the lack of communication from you may have exacerbated the issue. After all, Shihio doesn't know the details of the situation. Yeah, that was true. That's what I'd been so worried about and why I wanted to see her. I couldn't count the number of times I found myself somewhere looking up at the sky, eyes filled with tears as I thought of Chihiro and my friends, but I couldn't make her understand that, and not knowing the circumstances was making it worse. Chihiro-san's heart appears to have entered a deep freeze over the past year. Yeah, you might be right about that. But it may be Messiah's warm passion that will melt that ice. Right. But that's where the conversation stalled. Ruriko mentioned a warm passion didn't seem to have any concrete plan attached to it. I did have an idea. Messiah's concerns proved correct in the end, which means, what if we simply demonstrated it to her? Demonstrated what? The danger of the goons. They came up to me just because they saw us together in that restaurant. So what if the same thing happened with Shihio in my place? I see, lure them out, but wouldn't that be a little dangerous? What do you mean? You're an excellent in a fight, after all. I am? I don't really think so. But then they must simply be poor fighters. Ah, but we don't know for sure if that's the case. The truth was I never had a day's worth of real training. The idea makes me pretty anxious. It would be one thing if it were just me, but to bring Chihio into it? That is true. It may be a bit too reckless to be practical. By that you mean if we could mitigate a possibility of danger, it would be acceptable? Well, I guess, but in that case, what if I were to ask my father to assign a bodyguard? What, you could do that? Ruriko nodded. When I am at home, he always assigns me one when I go outside. Ah, I see. That's a good idea. As time is of the essence, we should begin tomorrow if we can. Yes, I will make the request to my father. Please wait a moment. If you have a professional bodyguard, there should be nothing to fear, am I correct? Yeah, I guess so. Wow, that was a surprise. The bodyguard? Yeah, normally I wouldn't have thought that sort of thing was impossible. The students who attended Vincennes started a primary course are all from wealthy families. But Ruriko's family is exceptionally extraordinary. Especially extraordinary. They are the Kamiyagi group, after all. The Kamiyagi group, even I knew that name. I think everyone in Japan knew that name. Lately, they were even known around the world as the globally expanding Kamiyagi. To put it plainly, the idea of me becoming friends with someone from a family like that was nothing short of a miracle. Ruriko was an honest-to-goodness hothouse flower. Rise was a very active person, but she was still a proper lady, which gave her statement extra conviction. You look rather upset. Did they refuse? He didn't refuse, but Ruriko explained the sadness of the request meant that their usual bodyguards were already fully scheduled elsewhere. If it were someone that I knew, I could recommend them with confidence. But in this case, what shall we do? Can we still get a bodyguard? Yes, it's a company, so they'll have to do several. So they do have several hundred available. In that case, let's do it. I want to make up with Chihio quickly, too. Very well. Ruriko pressed a few buttons on her cell phone to take it off the fold. Father, I will take one after all. Yes, tomorrow. From there, the three of us worked out the final points of our plan, and I prepared for tomorrow. This is going to be a very interesting day. That was a quick day. The next day I was hiding by the gate, waiting for the others to show. Ah, here they come. Hey, Ruriko, can we really leave the school grounds? Yes. It was a little surprising. She had heard there were people who left school grounds now and again. But she would have never figured Ruriko was the type. Chio, are you hungry? Oh yeah, now they mention it, I skipped dinner. Glad to hear it. I heard that the food at Papator Moon at Rock is simply delicious. Is this your first time going there? Well, the truth is I leave the campus so rarely. That's true, so today is your first time. Yes. But why so suddenly? Did something happen? It's something wonderful, that's why I wish to celebrate today. I see. She didn't know what it was, but she wanted to celebrate it with all her heart. Ruriko was the first and dearest friend she had made at Vincennes. If I may, you have been friends with Messiah since childhood, have you not? Well, yeah. I wish that you had told me. Well, it's just what? I was a little embarrassed, I guess. Is that so? Well, you know, yeah, it was our first time seeing him in a long time. I've known him since he was in short pants. I see, all of my childhood friends are still here with me after all. That's right, because you've all been living here since primary course. Yeah, so I cannot imagine what it would be like to have a male childhood friend. To be honest, I'm envious of you. I don't think that's very enviable. Is that so? But when I first questioned you about the subject, you told me that Messiah was not a bad person. You remember that, I guess. I've since realized that is now how you truly feel. We're at the school gate. How do we get out? Ruriko checked the time on her wristwatch. It should open soon. What? What could she mean? But before she had time to think on the question, the gate opened with a heavy sound. What? Why did it? Now Chihiro let us depart. Right. As Chihiro walked through, she heard Ruriko's footsteps slow, suspicious as she turned back around. For some reason, Ruriko was still standing within the school walls. What's wrong? Her only response was a bright smile. Just then someone ran out from beside Chihiro grasped in shock. Ah! Ruriko remained calm, however, it was as if she knew who was coming. Chihiro! Ah, Messiah. It was her childhood friend running towards her. Before she could react, he grabbed her hand. Good luck. Thanks. As Ruriko waved, the gate closed again. Hey, what's going on here? Chihiro recovered from her stupor and clung to the gate while trying to shake me off. But no matter how she hit me or flailed around, I wasn't letting go. The gate will open at 9 o'clock. Be certain to return by then. 9 o'clock. Hey, Ruriko. Farewell. With that last graceful word, Ruriko disappeared down the path. Wait, Messiah, what's going on here? Come on, don't be so mad. The teachers probably won't find out. That's not the point. It's been a whole year since you last saw each other. Should we grab something to eat? That's not the point either. I'm getting an allowance from the school. I can buy you a full course meal or whatever you want. Oh, look, the bus is here. We made it just in time. If we missed it, the next one's not for an hour, so let's go quickly. I pulled her by the hand to the bus stop. Chihiro didn't resist me. Sitting on the bench at the bus stop was a man in black and a woman. The woman was just a bystander, and the man was probably the bodyguard. How long are you going to hold my hand? Oh, sorry. For heaven's sake. The bus was nearly empty. We sat side by side, Chihiro looking out the window as if to avoid my gaze. Well, are you going to explain what's going on? I want to make up with you. So you're going to bribe me with food? I'm not that much of a glutton, you know. It's not that. I want to show you just how bad the goons are. What? She took her eyes off the window for a moment to glance at me. What do you mean? You think my story's unbelievable, right? Well, yeah, it was pretty fishy sounding. No, it's okay. I agree with you. That's what I thought. Showing you would be better than any expedition. The goons aren't going to give up that easily. If they catch sight of me, they'll come right after me on the spot. If they come, I'm going to run away and leave you behind. What? I mean, pretend to run, you know, by your logic. The goons won't come after you, right? Because we're not related. Well, that's what they're going to do it, because they're like rabid dogs. So if it does go down like that, you'll believe me, right? The reason I didn't tell you about the loan was because I was worried about you. That is, I mean, I didn't think for a minute that your attitude towards me would change if you knew about my financial situation. Chihiro's eyes went wide, but she turned her face back towards the window. Well, I knew that. The truth is, Ruriko told me. I see. She says you shouldn't worry about what people say, no matter how they view you. You're still you. Don't lecture me like that. You're a tentator serpent after all. That's your fault. What, you're blaming that on me? As we bickered, we reached our final stop. It's been so long since I left the campus. As we stepped off the bus and into the crowd, Chihiro stretched her arms in the air. Vincennes really doesn't let us out. Makes you wonder, did I really have a life before coming here? Speaking of which, Chihiro, when did you take the entrance exam for Vincennes? Oh, well, my parents recommended it. Wow, sorry, Dad must have worked hard. I hear the entrance fees is really high. There was no problem with that. Wow, really? People who start with primary course have to pay a heavy fee, but people who enter the final course just need a good test score. That's what the teacher said. Well, that's right, we're smart. I don't know. She was athletic and had the looks to match. Her stubborn personality was the diamond's only flaw, if you could call it that. As her childhood friend, it was hard for me to be objective, but thinking about it calmly, she was really an impressive person. Chihiro, do you have a title too? Wow, Masai, you've gotten really used to Vincennes, huh? No, it's not that. I just heard that proper girls get titles. Is that sarcasm? I'm being honest. Of course I don't have a title. Oh, I see. I guess it's because you guys started late. Mariko said that discrimination against people for that is stupid. Yeah. They look down on you for being a final courser. I wonder what they think of me. I must look like some exotic beast. Chihiro laughed and I felt a little more at ease. That was the feeling. That was the way we always laughed together before I ran out that night. Back then I thought we'd have days like this forever. Oh, crap. What's the matter? Is there something in your eye? Yeah, I think so now. Here, let me have a look. Oh, no, thanks. You probably couldn't see it in the lamplight anyway. I guess that's true. It's fine now. Well, let's go to the restaurant. I started walking off ahead of her. You're really going to buy that for me? You know that I don't have my wallet with me. Mariko-san told me not to bring it. I've got it. By the way, is there some reason you wanted me to wear my uniform? Mariko-san insisted I wear it too. They know about Vincennes, so it'll make you stand out, you know. Wow. After we placed our order, Chihiro looked around appreciatively. I'm impressed that you knew about this. It's a very stylish place. No, this is just my second time here. The first time I came here with Rise. Oh, so that's how it is. But you did seem rather close, you and Rise. Oh no, I meant we were close, but, well, I mean, we were on speaking terms, but she just invited me here to come to Vincennes. It's not what you think. I wasn't sure why, just explaining the situation was making me so nervous. Well, never mind. It doesn't concern me anyway. But I really was surprised. Chihiro's elbows were on the table, face resting in her hands as she stared off to the side. I never knew that your family was that badly off. I mean, I sort of had a feeling about it, but I never knew it was that bad. That's because your parents always helped us out. It wasn't exaggerating to say that after Chihiro's parents, I might have starved to death. I avoided the subject because I didn't want to cause any more trouble for them. Keeping us at a distance. Maybe I was. But now I'm completely out of sympathy for the old bastard, so... The old bastard, my old man. When I think about what he did to me before I came to Vincennes, it makes me glad that I hit it. Sigh. Oh, that reminds me. I took on a trip for told Atari to dispel the darkness hanging over the conversation. There's something I've been wondering about. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. What did you want to ask me on graduation day? I'm not going to tell you. Well, that was ages ago. It's just too late to bring it up now. Well, I guess that's true. But I found myself thinking from time to time. What if I had gone to meet Chihiro that day, even knowing the danger? Would that have changed the course of my whole life? Although there was a high possibility that whatever she had to say wasn't that important, too. I glanced out of the restaurant and shifted back suddenly in my chair. Chihiro noticed the sudden change in my mood and turned back to me quickly. Uh-oh. They're here. I'm going to cut it off here, guys, and leave you in suspense for the next part. See ya.